Hello everybody, I am Jake the NPC and welcome to the new YouTube channel. I am transitioning over from TikTok, so hopefully this all goes smoothly, and in the meantime I'm going to be entertaining those of you that are here with some spooky content. And today we are going to be discussing, as you can probably guess, that's right, the Jersey Devil. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. That's not the Jersey Devil at all. That's the Squonk. Huh. Look at him. He's about to cry himself into oblivion. What are you doing in there, little guy? You're not supposed to be in there. You know, the Squonk isn't supposed to be here at all. He's an abomination. You know where the Squonk's supposed to be at? That's right. The Squonk goes in Squonk Jail, where he belongs. We don't talk about the Squonk. Anyway, today we are going to be talking about the origin of the Jersey Devil and potentially one of history's first cryptid memes, because, oh boy, this thing is about to go in so many different directions, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. Now, most of you probably know the Jersey Devil from, any top 5 spooky monsters list ever involving the United States. That, or you know it from that one level on Pop Tropica. I feel your pain. But to catch the rest of you up to speed, the Jersey Devil is a weird winged monster that lives in the Pine Barrens of good old New Jersey. I'm never going to do that accent again. I apologize to everyone from New Jersey for it. Now, accounts of the Jersey Devil's appearance can vary. This is due to a number of factors, including its folklore origin. But that being said, the goofy bits do still stick around regardless of what you are reading. Now, to start with, the Jersey Devil is actually bipedal, which means it walks on 2 legs, but it has 2 little hooves, I said hooves, not claws, that dangle in the front like 2 useless little T-Rex arms. It's got a little barbed tail on the back, 2 big bat wings, and then the head is either kind of goatish with horns, or sometimes people describe it as maybe a little horse-ish, and it looks, for those of you that might be curious, like this. This right here. Get a good look at that. Yeah, that's it. Right, just gonna put him right there. Right there. Yeah. That's our boy. So the Jersey Devil is actually one of the top 5 cryptids you're likely to come across if you look up anything about United States folklore, period. He is one of 5. That being said, one of them is actually not on the American list. I included it up here anyway because it's still much more famous than any other cryptid you'd be able to pair it with. These 5 cryptids are, of course, Bigfoot, old Sasquatch himself. We got Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. We got El Chupacabra from Puerto Rico, which I know it's a territory, but we're gonna ignore the semantics of that for right now. And then, of course, the best one, my favorite, who will get his own video later, the Mothman. I love you. He's the best. Now, for those of you not in the know, a cryptid is a creature that science struggles to prove the existence of. And by struggles to prove the existence of, I mean there is very, very, very little physical evidence that these creatures actually exist. But that being said, the probability of them existing, even though it's incredibly, incredibly slim, it still exists to an extent. So Bigfoot has at least the physical possibility of being related to one of our old ancestors, Gigantopithecus, maybe within the missing link of something, something like that. Nessie, I mean, do I even have to say? Nessie's basically a dinosaur, and no one's going to fight me on that because that's basically what they say she is, a plesiosaur or something, I think like that. I'm not a dinosaurologist. Moving on. Then, of course, we have El Chupacabra and Mothman, which typically fall somewhere in the realm of the extraterrestrial. So, aliens. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. The probability that any of these guys actually exists, like based on physical evidence alone, it's like really, really, really low. But that being said, the Jersey Devil stands out even from this list because its origins and its nature are, well, let's just say the scientific possibility of the Jersey Devil is very, very iffy. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Now, the origins of the Jersey Devil stem all the way back to the early 1700s, typically somewhere around 1730, and they all involve a woman named Mother Leeds. Mother Leeds and her husband had 12 children together. Ouch. Mother Leeds herself was apparently very sick of being pregnant because when she found out she was pregnant with her 13th child, she was not very pleased about it. And when someone made a comment about the health of her unborn baby, she said, "Let it be a devil." Now, this sounds like idle chat to most of us today because that's just a figure of speech, right? Wrong. This is set in America before the Revolutionary War in an area full of Quakers. Now, what are Quakers, you may ask? Quakers are the really, really friendly, pacifist, Christian, Protestant, no nonsense, no devil kinds of guys. You know, the guy on the Quaker Oats box? Them. This entire area at this time is full of them, and they ain't having none of that devil talk. So what she just said was more than enough to warrant what's about to happen by American folktale standards. So we're going to cut forward to the birth of Mother Leeds' child in their log cabin in the Pine Barrens. You see, Mother Leeds gave birth, surprisingly, to a healthy 13th child that lived in harmony with them, much to everybody's shock and surprise. Except that's not what happened at all. The baby immediately was born and then turned into a devil, which I am going to illustrate now by I'm gonna put the baby there, put that there. Give me 1 second. We're gonna put that right there, put that horn there. I would like to see the baby. There we go. And that's the baby. So when the baby was born, it apparently immediately turned into the Jersey Devil, and then whacked everybody in the room with its barbed tail, and then flew out of the chimney and into the Pine Barrens, where it resides apparently to this day. Now, it's a pretty standard folktale by a lot of American standards. I mean, it has the devil mixed in there, the number 13, some weird, potentially witchy things happening. Now, some stories do include the idea that Mother Leeds may have been a witch. Personally, she's a woman in America before the Revolutionary War. It's not that hard to get accused of being a witch. I don't believe that. But that being said, there isn't really too much of an early scientific explanation as to what this thing could be. There's no film, there's no pictures, there's not really any physical evidence besides the folk story itself and maybe some mistaken noises from animals in the Pine Barren woods. However, just because there's not really any physical evidence for it at this time does not mean people did not have to deal with it, and it definitely didn't mean that people did not claim to see it. Now, over the years, several hundred people have claimed to see the Jersey Devil, and a couple of them we might even say were reputable. One of them, which some of you may be surprised to hear, was Napoleon Bonaparte's brother, Joseph Bonaparte. That's right, he's gonna go right there next to it. That's right. Bet you didn't learn that on Pop Tropica. Anyway, moving on. Joseph Bonaparte had a hunting lodge somewhere in North New Jersey, and he apparently saw it one day when he was out hunting. That's it, that's the entire account. But he's not the only person from back in the day that saw this. A Navy Commodore by the name of Stephen Decatur apparently saw it while he was on his ship. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I could not track down the primary source for this account. The book that was listed for it online was really hard to get, so take this with a grain of salt. But apparently, Navy Commodore Stephen Decatur, who is a well-documented historical figure he died in like 1820, claims to have seen it while he was on his ship with his men. It was flying overhead, and apparently they thought, well, we should probably kill that devil kangaroo thing, so they shot a cannonball at it, and they hit it, and apparently it did nothing and kept on flying. Sidebar, as a reenactor, I know how a lot of artillery works, right? I've worked with it, I fired a cannon before, but anyway, I have, worked a lot with that kind of stuff, and when you say that you saw something flying overhead, a thing about maybe the size of a man with wings, and you decided to fire a cannon at it, and it did nothing. A cannonball did nothing, and it kept on flying. Multiple witnesses. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that's not why? Are you sure about that's what you want to go with? Are you sure? Like, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's impossible to do that kind of thing with potentially smoothbore artillery, but like, are you sure? Anyway, these are the two main accounts from back in the day that involve the Jersey Devil being sighted in some kind of way. Both instances, it was flying. That being said, this is where the meme really starts to take hold, because it's not until one lonely week in 1909 that something fun happens. The Jersey Devil's real claim to fame comes in a week in January in 1909, when people started to report seeing the devil flying around, attacking people, and causing all sorts of commotion. This included the devil attacking things like a trolley car full of people, a social club in Camden, and attacking individuals walking the streets at night and even during the day. Now, I know what you're thinking, and yeah, the police were called to these occasions, and they apparently shot at it, and the bullets did nothing. This issue apparently became so widespread that whole schools shut down, towns would close early, people would stay home with their families, not having to go to work. Then, of course, there was the added issue of vigilante groups popping up and walking around the woods trying to find the darn thing. Of course, they never did. But that being said, it never killed anybody. They shot at it and it never got hurt, never left a trace. I think we know what's going on here, guys. Now, detractors will point out that some of this actually aligns with accounts that we've already covered. You know, like things getting shot at it and not doing anything to it, the rapid amounts of attacks, the number of people. I mean, alone, how could that many people see and claim this thing attacked them, and then it leave no trace? I mean, it had to have been real in some way. Well, mass hysteria cannot be ruled out, and then of course there's also just the sheer possibility that this was a meme of sorts. I mean, guys, I cannot confirm this, obviously, but it took place in the middle of January, the worst month of all of the months. It didn't just take place in it took place in the worst week of January, when you're in between January and February. I mean, like, you're rounding out the end of the month. It's cold, everyone's miserable because Christmas is over, and then all of a sudden, this 300-year-old monster from age-old folktale comes out of the woods and starts terrorizing not just New Jersey, but apparently places as far south as Maryland and as far west as Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Guys, I really, really do love this stuff. I love this myth. I love everything about it. To my knowledge, nobody got hurt during the Jersey Devil craze. Well, no human person got hurt during the Jersey Devil craze. We'll get into that later. But when you look at everything and you line up all of the details side by side, just in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like all the way down the line, and you stare at it for like a minute, it's so hard not to look at this as like the leprechaun sightings from 2006. That's all I'm saying. The Jersey Devil craze continued on for a little while longer, and as I said, it did go as far south as Maryland and as far west as Philly in Pennsylvania. Now, that being said, how popular was it in Philadelphia? Well, apparently the Philadelphia Zoo actually offered a reward for the capture and delivery of the Jersey Devil alive so that they could put it in their zoo, which is my favorite fun fact ever. They offered a cash reward for the Jersey Devil. And guess how much it was? If you guessed $10,000, you're absolutely right. Except this is 1909 money. Go ahead and guess with inflation how much that is. You good? You ready for it? Are you sure you're ready for it? Okay, I'm ready to tell you. It's $350,000. I love this so much. Safe to say, the Philadelphia Zoo never had to fork up that money, but they did leave a little space in their zoo for the devil if it ever was brought in. They wanted our little guy really, really bad, and they kind of got it, sort of, in a really gross way. See, during the craze, a couple of hoaxsters, who I'm not even going to name because their actions are really gross to me, they decided that they were going to try and market this little craze for a little bit of extra money. They decided to take a wild guess. Do you have a guess? If you guessed, buy a kangaroo from a circus and then glue fake horns and wings to it, you are absolutely correct. What am I doing? Yeah. That is not the baby. That is not the devil. That is a crime. They bought a kangaroo from a circus, put all of this stuff on it, and then displayed it alive in a museum for money, which is really, really, really gross because they glued a lot of this stuff on, and I guarantee you the kangaroo did not like it. I'm actually surprised the kangaroo even let it happen. Have you guys seen videos of kangaroos? They typically fight. I guess because it's a circus kangaroo, but who am I to judge? I mean, if someone started putting that stuff on me, I'm not sure what I would say. I probably would just stand there like, I can't believe this is my life now. I just have claws glued to me constantly. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, that's right. So these two hoaxsters decide to make money off of this poor creature, and I could not, for the life of me, find out what happened to this kangaroo. It's safe to say it's dead by now. I don't know if it ever got justice, seeing as how it's the early 1900s. Probably not, sad enough to say. But, that being said, I don't know where those two guys went, because they're probably dead now too. I'm not going to speculate on where they might be residing these days, but I hope that wherever they went with one or two scars from down under. That's all I'll say on that. Now, all of this, the devil, the legend, the mass craze in 1909, all of this can be explained through mass hysteria, some innocent fun, and then, of course, some not-so-innocent fun. But I don't say any of that to ruin anybody's day or to ruin your belief in this little guy. Personally, I think he's pretty cute. I'd put that on a t-shirt. I'd wear that right now. But I typically love it when people take things like local legends and market their towns off of it. I am still trying to go to the Mothman Festival in Pleasant Point, West Virginia, so I can get a picture with the Great One himself. But anyway, for now, I leave all of this up to y'all. I mean, the truth is, weirder things than this actually exist in Australia, like things that probably should remain in the darkest recesses of H.P. Lovecraft's racist little brain actually exist in Australia. So who knows, maybe that one day that cannonball was shot at by Stephen Decatur, maybe it did just glance off of this little guy while he was flying all the way to Australia where he knew he could make a good home. Or, you know, fight to be the king of the otherworldly beasts. Who knows what happened there. Maybe all undiscovered things just go to Australia, you know? Maybe everything. Maybe Bigfoot's over there. Maybe even the Loch Ness Monster just took a vacation and decided not to come back. Kind of like Hotel Transylvania, but for cryptids. Except for the squonk. The squonk stays in squonk jail. You know what it did. It knows what it did. It stays there. We don't talk about the squonk. Anyway, guys, I just want to thank you all so much for, you know, taking the time to watch this video. Transitioning from TikTok to YouTube is a scary thing. I've been wanting to do it for a long while, but it's your guys' support that actually lets me do that. I love making stuff like this. I mean, felt boards, honestly, this was an idea my mother came up with, and I personally am taken with it. So give me more ideas as to what I can put on my felt board, and give me more ideas as things you would like to see displayed as if we were at Sunday school that absolutely should never be displayed in a Sunday school. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what people say nowadays, but above all else, have a wonderful and blessed day.
Goodbye.